All right, I am excited. I am nervous. We're trying something new. We are trying something new today. I am hosting my first, I'm not hosting, I'm just recording an episode for From Grief to Gold. From Grief to Gold. But I'm recording myself, so I'm like a lot more nervous now. I'm not like hiding behind my mic, which you can't really see, but I'm testing two things. I've got a mic on my camera right now, and then I've got a mic on my computer. I've got like, I'll have to show it another time, but I've got like one of those like breakfast desk things. And so I have my laptop and my Yeti mic over on this side. So we shall see how this goes. But that is not what this episode is about. We are celebrating a new era, which I feel really weird because like my window's open and like this a service truck out front, and I'm just like, can you see me? Can you see that I'm like recording myself, talking to myself? Please leave. Oh my god. Anyway, all right. Now that service truck people are gone, I guess it's time for me to start the episode, right? So I'm Melissa Ann, and I host the From Grief to Gold podcast. But I have decided we are in season 3 because I'm allowed to choose when seasons start and when they end. You know, some seasons are like 15 episodes and some of them are like 20 and some of them are 30. But we are starting season 3 of the From Grief to Gold podcast, and I thought I would spice it up, change things up a little bit, and start adding video because I've noticed that some people just really enjoy like watching somebody have a conversation and not just listening. And so with a lot of exciting updates, I decided this would be a perfect episode to go ahead and show my face. I even did my makeup for y'all, so please be grateful. Just kidding. I mean, I did. I like haven't worn makeup in probably a month and a half, maybe 2. So this is like a really big honor right now. But I think it'll also help keep me on my minutes because I only get like 27 minutes to record an episode with my video before it shuts off on me. So this is great. This is like perfect. I think we got this. So this episode for me is kind of important, kind of special, kind of weird. I turned 31 this week. I'm officially 31 years old, 31 years young, but it's a weird year for me. And I want to bring it up because my first season, my first couple of episodes, really, I was working on a book about my late marriage and my late husband, which still feels weird to say a lot. Like I'll say my son's dad because that just feels more honest, I guess, even though he is my late husband. I don't like it. But anyway, names aside, labels aside, he died at 31 and I was 25. And at that point in time, I felt like 31 was still pretty young. But now that I'm 31, I feel like it's so much younger. And it brought me to like a lot of thoughts relating to mental health. And another reason why I wanted to do this episode today instead of on my birthday was, one, I need to start taking breaks and taking time for me and not working constantly, especially, you know, because burnout is real and I've already experienced it before and I'm trying not to do it again. But also because today is September 1st and it's Suicide Prevention Month. And as someone who has struggled a lot in multiple areas, anxiety, depression, suicidal ideations, you name it, this is a really, really important month. And ADHD and undiagnosed ADHD, I actually had to like take a pause in getting my official diagnosis because I had car problems that came up, so I couldn't afford to pay for my diagnosis or assessment, I guess. So that's fun. But with that aside, I had found myself, you know, kind of spiraling back into the negative thought processes of like, you know, I'm not at the financial state that I wanted to be at. I'm not seeing the successes that I want to see. I feel like I'm constantly just trying to catch up. And I totally found myself spiraling back into this, like, well, what's even the point? I have actually my most popular episode on From Grief to Gold is on dissociation and depersonalization and grounding. And I am still working through that. I actually just purchased a like training or a little mini course of sorts. I don't even know what I would call it. It's like a 2-hour video from somebody I watch on YouTube. I'm not going to talk about it yet. I might have her be a guest on an episode pending whenever I actually finish the class. But I ended up finally buying her little program on depersonalization and existential anxiety because I was realizing just how much it was completely debilitating me. And it really just was affecting me in so many different areas of my life. And I don't know, I guess like turning 31 and having that realization that like, this is how old my son's dad was when he died. Like just, it rocked me a little bit and almost like jump started me to the point where I was like, bitch, like get your shit together. Like, yeah, we're having existential anxiety and like shit's fucking whack and I'm stressed and I want to see the successes and nothing's happening. But like, show the fuck up. What, you haven't posted an episode on your podcast in like 2 weeks. You haven't posted anything on your social media. You haven't blogged. You're not reaching out to people to connect. You're not asking for referrals. Like, you can woe is me all day, but like, this is me talking to me, by the way. I'm a Virgo, in case you wanted to know. I'm a Virgo, Scorpio, mostly Virgo chart. So I'm like very mean to myself. Like I am the friend to go for like all of the like give it to me straight, but like wholeheartedly with love. But I do the same stuff to myself. And I was like catching myself back in like my sleep cycles where I would just like sleep the day away, and that's not helpful to be successful. Yeah, I was sitting here being like, I'm not getting as many clients as I need to get. I'm not blah, blah, blah. Why is nobody reaching out to me? Like just playing the victim. And that's okay to do from time to time. It's okay to like get in a rut and be like, this fucking sucks. Like I'm out here trying my best and no one's seeing me. But are you trying new things? Are you looking at what people actually need, or are you just making it about yourself? Are you providing value, or are you just pitching yourself? And are you showing up on different platforms? And I realize From Grief to Gold is kind of more of a mental health and wellness podcast, but I do have a pretty big network of individuals who are either high-functioning ADHD, high-functioning autism, high-functioning depression, like having like the most successful, and I say high-functioning like words. I don't say that without like addressing that high-functioning doesn't mean like shit doesn't suck, because shit actually really sucks and we're even better at hiding it, which means we're probably even more prone to burnout, because not only are we dealing with all this internally, we're externally showcasing like everything's fine. So like, don't even worry about me. But you should worry, because we're not fine. Everything's not fine. We're figuring it out though. But there are a lot of, areas, and I totally lost my train of thought. This is so much harder when I'm like looking at myself versus like just staring at my mic or like staring off into the distance. Now I'm like, am I looking at the screen enough? Am I looking at myself, or am I looking at you? Because I have my little thing to the side. And if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to even know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. But anyway, with regard to it being Suicide Prevention Month, a lot of there's a lot of reasons why people end up dying from suicide. And it can be just the demons won, you know, it can be the self-talk just finally got to be too much, and we let these false beliefs win. We believed that we'd be better off gone. We believed that it's not going to get any better and became hopeless. Or we didn't have the support that we were hoping we would have. We're super, super lonely. I know for me personally, my ideations definitely come up when finances are really, really stressful. So this last couple weeks, I've been back into that financial stressors because I haven't been showing up for my business. I haven't been showing up for myself. I've just been like I have been working on things. I relaunched my website for From Grief to Gold. Finally, so excited. But I was working on a lot of things that aren't gonna have immediate financial success. And I was getting really, really stressed out because I have bills to pay, and I'm gonna have to get a new car soon because my car is starting to have more issues and not be the reliable Black Widow that she used to be. But she's getting old. You know, she's run her course. She's moved across country with me a lot. She's driven across country with me a lot. And I am beyond grateful that I am just now starting to have car issues. But I'm not at a financial point where I can afford a new car. And that's so disheartening. And it's such a first world issue, but it's still a real issue. Because I have a child to take care of. I have places I need to be able to go. I want to be able to see people because I'm all by myself. So I like to go and drive out to coffee shops or breweries or co-working spaces so I can interact with individuals, even if I'm not actually talking, because I'm not the social one out of me and my son, or really any of my close people. I'm like, I need water. I should have brought water with me. I am not very social. I am like the social, like the wallflower, and I just like hide. And then if I feel like we can relate to something, it's normally about food, then I'll say something. But 99% of the time, I'm just over here observing, listening to conversations. Like, I will know all about your trip to Vancouver. I will know all about your California winery visit. Like, I will hear all of the conversations, but like, hopefully you don't know that I'm doing it. But I am not like the extroverted, like, let me go introduce myself and strike a conversation with people just out of nowhere. That's not, it stresses me out. It makes me really anxious. I am a people person though, and I like having conversations, but going back to the ideations and the mental health, loneliness is a real thing, and it's hard a lot, especially like in the American culture, we are so spread out and we're so far away from people, and it does make it really hard to make connections with other people. And it's a huge piece of my own depression and ideations because, sorry, I'm like all full of burps right now. Anyway, I'm hoping I'm not too bright. I think I might have done the settings a little too much, but we'll see when I go in post-production. But it's not easy doing things alone. And especially when you have friends who have partners or their significant others, or they have their family close by, their families or their parents are retired, or, you know, they have the support system right there for them. And when it's just you, like, it's hard. It's hard. You can even have a great support system and it's still hard. But the other one is financials. You know, like if you are struggling to get bills paid, or you're struggling to bring in clients, or you're struggling to keep up at work, like that's gonna wreck you in different ways too. And I don't have a solution per se. I think the world's got a lot of problems that need to be fixed, but I will say that practicing mindfulness, as like cliche as it is, like practicing being like, okay, what can I do right now? Like, yes, this is stressing me out. Yes, this and this and this and this and this is going wrong. But what can I do right now? Like, I don't have any control over any of that. Half of that might not even actually come true. So, like, what little baby step can I go after today for a more positive? Like, maybe I drink some water. Maybe, you know, I'm in a funk and I just want to go take a nap. Maybe I'll just go for a walk for a little bit. You know, it's nice outside. I'm going to go for a walk. Or I haven't reached out to my friends in a while. Maybe I should reach out to my friends. Or I haven't applied for a single job. Maybe I should apply for a job. Or maybe I should have somebody help me with my resume. Maybe I should go and network with somebody on social media or network with somebody on LinkedIn to build connections. Maybe I have all this content just sitting here that I haven't done anything with, and maybe I should start actually posting and stop being so scared and self-sabotaging. And maybe I need a rest. Like, maybe I need to actually sleep. Maybe I need to, like, stop binge watching shows and scrolling through TikTok or Instagram Reels and just take a minute to just breathe or read a book. You know, maybe there's like a book or like a magazine or like something, or like art. Like, maybe I haven't drawn. Yeah, maybe I haven't done that in a while. So just looking at, you know, the little things that you could do, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, be like, okay, well, for like 5 minutes, I'm going to read my book. For 10 minutes, I'm going to go for a walk. Or 20 minutes, you know, whatever feels like it's not too much time commitment, but enough to get you to go and do it. And then kind of like trickling that momentum of like, okay, well, since I already am doing this, maybe I'll go do this other productive thing too. Or maybe I'll do this other thing that will help me. And just pushing forward with that. So with that said, today was just kind of like a little overall of mental health. I don't think I've really talked much about it. Also, like, if you have a therapist or you have a doctor, it's okay to like let them know that you're struggling. I know it's hard. I've had struggles trying to like decide to like talk to a provider, but if you have a good mental health provider or a regular physician, they do want to help. And I actually was just making a post for, I have something called the Branded Academy, and I did a post about how mental health can affect your small businesses. But one of the things that I just realized was I used Talkspace a couple of years ago, like back in 2018 or 2019. But apparently they are able to work with insurance for pharmaceuticals. So if you do need some type of medication to help you as well, I guess Talkspace is able to do that, which is nice because I'm dealing with it currently where I can't even get seen by a therapist for a couple of months, 6 months maybe. And so if there is that option of virtual therapy check-ins, and that's also a really great option. I know I personally love Talkspace because I could just text in when I was in my feels versus waiting 2 weeks for my next appointment when I wasn't feeling that way anymore. And then I completely forgot that I felt like that. And so it was nice because I could text in or do an audio message when I was in my funk, and they'd be able to hear me while I'm in my funk. And, you know, within a business day, send me over some different tools or resources that might be able to help me moving forward with, you know, how can I get into a better headspace, or what thought processes can I do to kind of like rewire what funk I was in. And I say funk, that sounds so weird now that I've said it so many times. But when you're in just like a mental abyss, like in a depression, or you're in a big ball of anxiety or whatever you're dealing with, it can be really hard to think rationally while you're in that moment. And so that's kind of why I mentioned about like being able to like send in that message while I'm in it. So that way, one, I can come back and reference and notice like those patterns, like what things do trigger this for me. Whereas if I have an appointment in 2 weeks, I'm going to completely, not necessarily forget, but I'm going to completely downsize how much that actually affected me, because it's not affecting me right now, but that was like major, and it could have gone way south when it happened. So being able to have opportunities like that, and I know it doesn't need to be talk space. I'm not even like promoting them necessarily, but I know that helped me a lot. Like even with like, I'm just tired all the time. And my therapist was like, well, what are you generally thinking about, you know, when you get tired? And a lot of the time it was because I was just a big, huge ball of anxiety, and that mentally exhausted me to the point where I just wanted to sleep. And so I started getting better about being like, nope, shut up, brain, no more talking. We're done. Leave me alone. Everything's fine. I'm going to get this done. Quit stressing me out more. And I noticed that I would stop being as tired as often. But having those tools and noticing those patterns is so crucial for being able to start getting yourself back on top. And however that needs to look, whether it's with a therapist or with a psychiatrist or doing inpatient therapy, or, you know, there's so many different options. If you have a really good support system that you know you can trust, then having that. But there are so many options out there, and there's a mental health assessment, or Mental Health America. They have an assessment where you can go in and kind of get an idea. Of course, it's not to replace mental health care, but it can be beneficial. So I'm going to leave that in the notes as well. But with that also being said, because it's the start of season 3 and it's my birthday week, depending on when you're seeing this, but I have my personal training certification and my health coaching certification and like nutrition and behavioral change and like all of these things. And I've just kind of sat on it for a long time. But I initially got them because when I was going through my major grieving mental health abyss, I just wanted an accountability coach. I wanted somebody who could be like, sup bitch, like you wake up today? You getting your day started? Like maybe not that, maybe not, but maybe. But I just wanted somebody that knew what my goals were and was gonna call me out, because as much as we love our friends, if we have friends, I don't have friends, but my friends will get mad when I say that. As much as they can try to be our accountability, like they've got their own stuff going on. And I feel like no matter how often you try to be each other's accountability coaches, it never works out. One of you's checking in, the other one's not. One of you disappears for like 3 weeks and the other one's like trying to stay accountable. And it just doesn't always work. And so I have officially decided that under the Grief to Gold brand, I'm starting an accountability, mental health and wellness, or health and wellness. I'm not a mental health professional, so we're not doing that. But I am starting a health and wellness accountability coaching. And it doesn't have to be towards like a weight goal or anything like that. It can just be, I just want to stop sleeping in all the time. Like I want somebody to call me out and knows that like I'm working towards this goal and that this is not helping me. You know, like it can be anything in the health and wellness. And I believe that health and wellness can be anything from your career. It can be schooling. It can be like going out and networking, making friends. Like there are so many things outside of working out and eating healthy that go towards health and wellness, in my opinion. So maybe it's like, hey, I want to start walking every day. And I'll be like, bitch, let's go get it. Like I downloaded Pokemon Go because it's fun. I did it mostly for my son, but now it's mine. And I'm like a 12-year-old or something. I don't even know what, or maybe it's like an 8-year-old. I don't even know. But it's really disappointing because I'm like a level 33 now, but it's a kid's account. So I feel like I'm limited. And I'm really disappointed that I got so ahead into the game. And now I'm stuck in a kid's account. Completely unrelated. But I will have information for the accountability coaching form as well in the notes. But I'm excited to start talking about that a lot more. There are so many cars. I'm sorry. If you're watching my video, you're probably seeing me to get distracted by the outside. Like the leaves are moving on the trees and then cars are going by and it's just like a big ball of distraction. But with that said, I have taken up about 25 minutes of your time and hopefully helpful, but I'm excited for season 3. I have a couple of guests that were amazing from last year that I'm going to be reaching out to and letting them know that they're officially scheduled now that I have a website up and running and working on actually adding in my show notes from the episodes for those who aren't reading or watching video, or aren't listening, that want to read. So that's all I have for you. If you're a business or you're looking at starting a business, I officially relaunched the Branded Academy and have the Startup Collective, which is going to be a monthly membership that you can pay monthly or annually, but also super excited about that. Those were my birthday to-do list things that I wanted to get done by my birthday this week, and I did it. I'm so excited. So these are like 2 huge passion projects of mine. And I'm taking a pause from school. I don't know if I had shared about that on my podcast, but I had started a master's program that I was like really, really passionate about. But I kind of realized that I feel like it was another form of self-sabotage, because I'll have to go over that in another episode. But self-sabotage can look productive. It's super sneaky like that. And I was just like, I have so many skill sets and so much knowledge and so much so many things that I want to share, like so many books that I have on my shelf that I want to read and be able to do like Spark Notes for, if you're old enough to know what Spark Notes are. I don't even know if Spark Notes are still around anymore. But with that being said, there's a lot that I'm really genuinely excited about in this new season, both metaphorically but also from Roof to Gold. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next episode. Goodbye. All right, we're gonna pause that. Done skis. Boom.